So, hey, it is me. I'm back with another video. The awesome Alex asked me to, well, he didn't ask me to, he said, are you going to do a video about Boba Fett? And I'm like, yeah, man, I want to do a video about Boba Fett. I just caught episode 4. I'm blown away, and I'm blown away for reasons you might not expect. I'm really enjoying Boba Fett on Disney+. I think Jon Favreau does a fantastic job, and he's doing the same fantastic job that he did with The Mandalorian. I really enjoyed The Mandalorian as a series on Disney Plus because Jon Favreau figured out the formula, and every episode was a self-contained story that had a larger story arc. And to me, just the way it was produced reminded me so much of the 80s TV shows that I loved, like The A-Team and Knight Rider especially, where they were kind of like self-contained stories that sometimes had a broader arc. But they were kind of like one and done episodes, and it was always very simplistic. You had the core characters were the same, like you had David Hasselhoff and his talking car, but that's it. And then they would meet new people each episode, and that's kind of like The Mandalorian did, which I thought worked really well. And Boba Fett so far has been doing really well with self-contained stories. The other thing that I really like about Boba Fett is it's not trying to be clever. The Mandalorian was like staking new ground, but with Boba Fett, you have a character who's already established, Boba Fett. And most people who are Star Wars fans, they have ideas in their head of what they want to see. They want to see Boba Fett escape from the Sarlacc pit. They want to see Boba Fett be successful in taking over Tatooine. And I would say there's nothing really super unexpected that gets revealed with the Book of Boba Fett. Everything that happens, you're kind of like, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that makes sense. But it's satisfying. It's actually really satisfying when there are things that you think are going to happen and they kind of pay off. And it's an art that too many storytellers have forgotten these days on TV. I mean, I made that video about Star Trek the other day and how like Discovery was just such a mess because they kept trying to do new things. Whereas you don't need to do new things, you just need to tell interesting stories and have interesting characters. And what Boba Fett does so brilliantly is it has interesting characters. It has Boba Fett, who has an interesting backstory, like Lawrence of Arabia. You've got Fennec, who's, you know, the bounty hunter, and she's cool and interesting. All of the characters are kind of interesting. I love it. And the thing that he's trying to do, it's like the Godfather in space. I think it's a great show that way. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the very disciplined and methodical way that Jon Favreau is doing it. I think it's great. But the thing that really excites me about the Book of Boba Fett and The Mandalorian that came before it is just what it means for the production of movies and television shows. Because I don't know if you're familiar with this, you probably are, because they've had tons of promos about it. But The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett are filmed using this incredible technology, where you have this huge, curved, 12-foot high, like LED screen. Basically, if you imagine your flat screen TV you've got on your wall, imagine that's twice as tall as you are and curves around like 70% of a room. And that's what they use to film on. They don't have a traditional set. They have like a raised platform, and then behind it is this arc of these LED screens. And the brilliant thing they do, this is amazing, this blows my mind, is on the TV screens behind them, they will display a 3D background that's made using the Unreal Engine, which is, Unreal is what you use to design video games. And it's the same technology, because these days, video games, I mean, we bought my kids a PlayStation 4 for Christmas, and that's the old technology. They're incredible. I mean, I used to write Pong on my Commodore PET, well, my dad's Commodore PET, when I was a kid. And now, you literally have the technology to create, you know, like virtually photorealistic worlds using the same computer that I've got over there on my desk. And it's amazing. And I fiddled around with it a bit, and I really want to learn more, because the opportunities it offers are incredible. But yeah, so using the same game technology that you can access for free on your home computer. If you go to Epic Games, the Unreal Engine is free to download and start creating and start doing things. They create these amazing 3D backdrops And then they get a camera and they film the actors performing with that as a backdrop. And what does that do? That completely eliminates the need for any green screen or any location work or anything. Whatever background you want, you can have right there. And the thing that's amazing is, I told you, it's like this curved thing like that. So if you have your actor here and your camera here, and you've got your projected background in the Unreal Engine, if the camera then moves like that, then there is a program in the computer that follows the camera. So the 3D background displayed on this huge TV screen moves as well. So you can have a totally realistic background render of whatever you want that reacts to the camera as if you were really there. And it looks good. It doesn't look great. I mean, it does look great. I mean, I've been watching it on this huge, ridiculous TV that my wife got for an incredible bargain. And it's like the biggest TV I've ever seen. And I've been watching a lot of movies, and they look really weird in HD. And the Marvel movies that I've been watching recently, I watched Iron Man 3, and it was kind of weird because it was like so realistic. It showcased how unrealistic some of the CGI was and stuff like that. So the thing that I think is amazing is using this technology for Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, the special effects that they do look just as good as the movies that they spent millions and millions of dollars on. I mean, but more than that, like to have whatever background you want. You don't need to leave the studio. You don't need to do post-production work with a green screen. It's just there, live. You record it, shooting it like that, and it's like you were actually on location, and it looks great. And there are things like, you know, if you have a fire burning in the background on the screen, the lighting effects will actually flicker off, you know, the armor of the character on screen, on the set. So it makes for a much more dynamic and realistic background than you can ever achieve with green screen. And it's all there in one particular studio. I mean, right now, you know, there are only 3 or 4 studios that can actually do this. But I think in the next 10, 15 years, people are going to have access to these things where you can write your script, you can go in, and you can make a blockbuster style movie or a TV show or whatever you want in a single studio with whatever background you want and completely seamless special effects. And it's going to change everything. I mean, everyone's going on about, oh, we need more content, we need more content, we need new series, we need this, we need that. This is going to give people the opportunity to do it. You're going to be able to make blockbusters on a shoestring budget. I mean, if you've got 5 mates, you can get together and rent one of these hypothetical things that haven't been built yet and make a movie over the course of the weekend that actually looks good enough to be on Netflix. And I really believe that's going to happen. And it's incredible. What does it mean? I don't know. But to me, that's the most exciting and amazing thing about the Book of Boba Fett in particular. I mean, I know they use that same technology for The Mandalorian, but with the Book of Boba Fett, you can see it's almost written for that technology. And the thing that really gets me about it is if you watch the Book of Boba Fett, it's very intimate. Because you're basically having actors on a stage. There's almost like a stage-like thing to their performance. I was watching the Book of Boba Fett, and when they go back and forth between the characters with the backdrops, it reminded me of watching Shakespeare on the stage. And I imagine for the actors, it's like being on stage. They project so much more, and it's kind of weirdly intimate. It's like being on stage with them, and you can see the backdrop, and it's kind of like photorealistic, and it visually, you know, in your head that it's like representing Tatooine or wherever, but then it's got the intimacy of being on stage with the performer as they perform. And it's weird because it's not quite the same as watching a movie, a spectacle movie like No Time to Die. No Time to Die was an amazing movie because it was set on location and they used real effects and it was just incredible spectacle. And if you made a version of that in one of these studios, it wouldn't look nearly as good. But there are going to be things that people produce in these studios which have just such quality, and it's almost like this weird thing of being able to produce blockbuster effects. You have this weird like stage-like dynamic to the performance of the actors. I think that's going to be a thing. I think people are going to start to really dig that, and it's almost going to be like, yeah, we love our blockbusters, but we also love our shows that are like that. And for things like science fiction movies in particular, or fantasy movies, this is going to be a godsend. You can create anything you want right there on a stage. The Globe Theatre that Shakespeare was famous for was a globe like that, and you had a stage that extended out. It's almost like that. Each of these things is the modern globe, and there are going to be hundreds of them all over the world, and people are going to produce incredible movies that can be enjoyed by everybody, incredible TV shows that can be enjoyed by everybody. We are on the brink of the most exciting age of creative expression ever. And yeah, and the Book of Boba Fett is right there on the cutting edge of it. And so when we talk about the Book of Boba Fett, yeah, I really, really enjoy it. And as a Star Wars fan, I really, really enjoy it. But to me, it is the start of something incredible that is literally going to change the world. And I mean, I know deep in my heart that someday some of the things that I create are one day going to be filmed on stages like that. I really believe that. And in fact, it's kind of re-energized my desire to tell stories and put things out like that, because I know that the opportunity to actually bring them to life is going to come to me at some point. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, yeah, that technology, you can have these incredible things with live actors. Right now, for free, on my home computer, I have access to stuff like Unreal's MetaHumans, and that's its incredible thing where you can do some sliders and create artificial humans, 3D rendered humans, live on screen, download them and put them in your games. And I mean, I literally created some guy who looked like Tintin on this thing for free, downloaded him for free, put him in an Unreal game I was trying to learn how to use for free. If you do motion capture, you'll be able to create literally, if you've got motion capture, which I think you can do, there are all sorts of YouTube videos about people who rig up motion capture things in their home, and you had a 3D rendered model using MetaHuman, that you could have a cast of characters. Me, with my stupid voice, sometimes I can do weird accents. I could have a cast of digital actors and using motion capture actually act out a movie, and then using Unreal design a set. I mean, it's incredible just what is going to emerge in the next few years creatively. And we all have the opportunity to be a part of it if we're interested. So I'm really, really excited. Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett to me is like a stake in the ground. It's like, this is where the fun began. This is where humans embraced a form of creative expression that has hitherto been unheard of. And I love it, and I'm excited for it. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up, but if you haven't watched the Book of Boba Fett, definitely go and check it out. The Mandalorian was really, really great as well. Disney Plus is probably the subscription service I'm happiest about investing in, even though I'm not really a big Disney fan. Almost specifically for the Marvel and the Marvel and the Star Wars stuff, it's definitely worth the amount of money. But the stuff they're producing it blows my mind. Jon Favreau is so talented. And my biggest regret with it, as I said, my brother was a huge Star Wars fan with me, and I wish he'd have had the opportunity to see what a wonderful time it is to be alive, and all of these incredible things that are being made using the intellectual properties and the things that we love. There's been no other time like this in human history, and as long as we keep our shit together and we don't let the people in charge make too many bad decisions, we are about to enter a golden age of storytelling. Right, that's it from me. I'll make another video soon. Ciao. I'm Roland Hume. I've sold 67,000 copies of my books. If you want to find out how I did it, I've got a link right here you can click. And otherwise, don't forget to subscribe. I've got more videos coming soon. Thank you.